There we go. Okay, so we are launching a community within Talkadot. So when you log into your account, and I'll just share my screen really quick to give everyone a quick overview of what they're gonna see. Um, and Marissa, I'm gonna make you a co-host, Marissa. So if people come in, you can let them in. Just because I realize keep people are popping in, and I want to share my screen, and I'm gonna keep people in the
Sounds
waiting
good.
room. They're gonna hate themselves. Okay, well they're gonna hate me, not themselves. Um, okay, sharing my screen, and okay. So let me hit home. So we're going to have this new community where when you log into the app, all of the cool resources, all the cool upcoming events, all the cool things that we're doing are going to be in one place. One of the things that happened is that early in the game, we'd put together like contract templates and and sales scripts and all these cool things, and people so be like, well, how do I get access to that? How do I get access to that? Like, oh, I can get the my speaker leads. How do I get access to that? And we're just sending so many emails, and we're like, we got to make this a better process for everyone. So that's what this whole community is going to do. On the left hand side here, you're going to see lots of different discussion channels about like, here's announcements of new features we have. We're going to have some merch that's coming up. We're going to have leaderboards for who's like crushing it, because people are always asking, like, I want to know about these things. But the other thing we're going to have is this section right here called Talkadot Pro, which is pro resources, pro courses, pro trainings. This is where we're going to house all of the cool things that we've done, from trainings in the past. Oh, I'm frozen here. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Let me unfreeze myself. I gotta
And
like
is this
send.
a Facebook community?
No, so this is going to be a community within the app itself. So it's when I say soft launch, what I mean by that is, when you log into Talkadot moving forward, you're going to be able to
Mhm.
click a button that says community and pull this up within the app itself. So this is off of Facebook. It's not on Facebook. So if you log into your app, you'll be able to log into here. The link that I sent you, it might, geez Louise, I got to turn this thing off. It's, it freezes me. This happened before, and I know how to do it. I just have to remember how to do it. So I keep okay. I'm sorry. When I gave you that link, it probably asked you to log in on the upper right hand corner. Okay,
Mhm.
this is too much. Hold on. I'm gonna just change my camera. I'm so sorry.
You could
This
do
is
it. You could
this is
do
too
it.
much. I apologize. The link that I gave you on the upper right hand corner should ask you to log in. If you click log in, it's just going to ask you to log in with your Talkadot credentials. But when we build that when we launch it live within the app, you'll just have to do that once, and then you'll be able to access it through the app in perpetuity. So this is going to house everything. It's going to be really, really cool. So that link right here, we posted it here. People are going to be able to say hello to each other, share wins. If people have questions about like college youth speaking or working with speaker bureaus or speaking tools, so anything with NSA related stuff. So it's going to be really easy way for us to organize, communicating with each other. And we've had so many speakers say, I need to refer someone who speaks about like AI or something. Do you know anyone that speaks about that? And I'm like, well, not in any organized way. So this is going to be also a way for us to know who speaks on what. So if we need to refer speaking opportunities, or if we have something, so it's just going to make things way more simpler and way more easy. If people have questions, a lot of times people ask questions like, and how do you tee up Talkadot? Or Steve, how do you tee up Talkadot? Like, how are you getting responses? What's your follow-up look like? So to be able to get those insights, we think this is going to be a much better place. So that's kind of like a little, this should be launching very, very soon officially. But if you want to jump in and play around a little bit now, just hit the login button on the upper right-hand corner, log in with your Talkadot credentials, and then you'll be good to go.
And you said something about my speaker leads.
hmm So my speaker leads are, um, it's an organization that provides 100 speaking opportunities per week. We have a relationship with them where you can get 400 basically a month for free as being a Talkadot member. So that resource is there as well. So if you go to, if you log in and you go to where it says Pro Resources right here on the left-hand side under Talkadot Pro, you'll be able
Mhm.
to see we put together a list of you've probably heard me mention ASAE. Maybe you haven't, maybe you have, like a million
Yep.
times. Like these are the state chapters. So what I did is I put together a list of all of the state chapters with their contact information, when their conferences are. So I put together a
Wow,
spreadsheet for all of
that's
that.
great.
Yeah, just to save you the time and energy of doing it. So like that's there. And we've got the link to the training video here. This is a 3-minute music clip. Some people are like, oh, what do I play during like some people want to
That's so
play music.
cool.
Yeah, so you can download it. It sounds like this. I don't know if you can hear it. It's kind of like a little, it's got a little jazz vibe. Wait, you probably can't hear it because I didn't share my audio.
Yeah,
Hold
you
on.
didn't share the
Okay.
sound, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was nice for me. You didn't get it though. Hold on. It's
I can
No, I
hear it.
heard it. I heard it, Earl.
oh, you did hear it? Oh, okay. So
I don't.
oh, you don't hear it?
Mm-mm. No.
Anyway, just
Oh well,
just
I can
I
hear
can
it.
go on.
it's nice. It's
Don't
like
worry about it.
jazz. It's cool. So anyway, that's a
Nice.
3-minute jazz clip. So you can download that. Some people want to say like, well, I want to play some music during my thing. What music do you recommend? So you can put that there. This is just someone who's posting, which actually this is really cool. People are posting, makes me happy. These are speaker showcase links. So this is how to speak to showcase in front of bureaus. This is how to speak to showcase in front of colleges. This is how to do the speaker recon, like how to use the key phrases to find what events other speakers are speaking at so that you can start building your list. And then these are like template emails that you can send that you can just fill in the blank and then examples. So it's basically all, and this is the My Speaker Leads. So the My Speaker Leads is here's what they give you, the 100 conferences. Here's the link to do so, and then the promo code to get it. So yeah, so all of that stuff is now in one place. So you can go log in, get the My Speaker Leads, get the promo code, and get access to it.
And so we are considered members of Talkadot.
Yes. Wait,
So, or is there
what
an
question are
extra
you asking?
charge for this?
Oh, for the My Speaker Leads. So it's
No.
free for a month. If you want to keep doing it after the month, it's like totally up to you. You don't have to. You can cancel within the month, but it's $20 per month. It's a totally different company. It's a different service. We just know the founder and we thought it ties in with us. So you get a month for free, and then if you want to continue paying, you can, and then it's $20 a month if you want to keep going. Yep.
And then the app itself, like to be part of this, is that another charge?
No, this is built in.
This is our
Yeah.
site. Okay.
Yeah, so
Great.
that when you log in to Talkadot moving forward, and I'll just show you what it'll look like, at least what we think it'll look like, because what we do is change things all the time because we want to make it better. When you log into your Talkadot accounts moving forward, right now in the upper right-hand corner, do you see where it says help right here? Right now, when you click on that, it just says send us an email if you have any questions. We're going to change this to a community button. So when you click on this, it'll send you directly into our community. There's Nilu right there.
Great. Great.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you. So anyway, we're really excited about it. I think it's going to organize a lot of things. It's going to allow you to meet one another, connect with each other, best practices, get questions answered. And we have the best community. Like there's wonderful groups of speakers out there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disrespecting any group when I say this, but we truly have the best humans that share, that are really giving. So just being able to make it easier for us to connect, I think is going to be so important. Steve, did you just raise your hand about what we were just talking about?
I tried to, but I see some other folks got their hands up.
Okay, yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to it's Nilu, right? I'm constantly feeling okay. I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly. I'm feeling that
Yes,
anxiety.
thank you.
So if you have a question, raise your hand, and then and the way you use your raise your hand feature, you go to reactions and then raise your hand, and then this will pop up right here, and then we'll just go through the questions like that. Nilu, what's up?
Hi. Yes, you always pronounce my name correctly, and then you always say, "Am I pronouncing it correctly?" So yes, you
It's
are.
the weirdest thing. I'm like it's like longitude and latitude. I know which one is which, but I second guess myself every time. I'm sorry.
No worries. So I wanted to say thank you last session about like finding opportunities. Amazing. Also a lot of information. And I was wondering if you could go back over like with ASAE, what is, because you had said you had reached out to all of them, just like best practices. And is there a template that you use? Also, like, do we go into our, like with our state, like New York, or do we, like any strategy for that? Because that list is long. So just wondering, like, if you could talk
Sure.
through best practices for that.
I will. I can. Hold on. Let me pull up some examples so I can show you what I do to make my life a little easier. Just gotta pull it up. Where are you? It's a good thing. I want you to conference application. Where are you? Hold on. I think it's in my other drive. Conference. Where are you? I wish I was more. I know it exists. There it is. Okay. Golly. Like I knew it exists and I was like, I'm just pull it up super quick and super easy. And I didn't. Okay, so here's what I do. And again, I have no idea if this is the best way to do it. I'm just going to show you what I've done in the past, and you can either mimic, copy, or totally replace. What I've done is I've created a Google Doc for myself that has basically all the things that people are going to want from me, right? So I have a 200-word description of my program. I have a 150-word description of my program. I have bullet pointed learning objectives. This is what I typically submit to these conferences. And then I have a under 100 word description. And then I've got my bio and 150 word description, which I'm kind of doubling up on for some reason. So I think maybe I doubled up. Anyway, so I have these. And the reason why I have different word counts, because sometimes these like ASAEs or other groups say submit your proposal to speak and you only have 75 words or 200 words, or so every time they give me a new restraint, I create a new option basically, right? So I have like a couple more down here, but it's pretty much the same, right? And then what I'll do is, let me just pull up this ASAE list here. So these are all of the chapters organized by state, their URL, the name, the event, and their staff list. So this like clicks directly over to like the folks. I would 100% start with local chapters, like, excuse me, your state, right? What state are you in, Nilu?
New York, Queens, New York.
Yeah, so there's the Empire State for New York, which is here, right? So I would start there. Now, they haven't said yes to me yet. Maybe you can get a yes quicker than I can, right? But I would definitely start with your own state because it's easy, right? Like you're in Queens, they probably are going to do an event in Albany would be my assumption. So you can just click on their event link here and then go, okay. When is your link? Okay, so you might have to create a password for some of these. I don't have all of these like pegged to memory, but let's just take like New England because that's not too far from New York. I would look at like, do they have any events coming up that I might want to speak at, right? So they're gonna have all their list of events. What I'm typically looking for is their annual conference, right? So if I go to events here, I'm looking more for annual meeting, right? It's probably, yeah, like that. This is what I care about typically more because that's where I'm going to get the most bang for the buck versus like a webinar or something like that. Now, this is happening June 2024. The odds that you're going to get to speak at the June event is pretty much close. Like what I would do is reach out to them and say, hey, if anyone, cancels last minute or you need someone, I've done this. I call it the pinch hitter. If you ever need a pinch hitter, but it like one time in 20 years has anyone ever actually taken me up on it, right? So it's more, I do it more just to get on their radar, right? So like here, I see that Jill Rotari is the contact for their annual conference, right? So the first thing that I'm going to do is look up Jill on LinkedIn, right? So I'm gonna go, okay, this is Jill. Yep, that seems like it's her. And then I'm gonna just connect with her and go, hey Jill, love the work you do at NESEA. Or is it that right? NESAE. Ooh, get that right. AE. I have keynoted. This is just me doing it, right? You would like make it more your, self. I've keynoted at MSAE, FSAE, WSAE, and will be speaking at GSAE this year. who knows? Maybe we might cross paths at one of your annual conferences. Something like this. Just, like a little, this is my vibe. A little cutesy, I'm not a weirdo, kind of thing, right? So that's what I do. So the first thing is I try to find all of the contacts that I can connect with people on LinkedIn. So that's the first thing, because I want them to see me as a human first of all. The next thing I do is I have hunter.io. Were you here when I talked about hunter.io in the past? Okay,
No,
so
I don't think so.
hunter.io is free. They have a paid version of it, but basically it's a way for you to find people's emails as a Google Chrome plugin. So I think hunter.io, Google Chrome extension, right? So I'm looking for the Google Chrome extension. I'll just throw this. I'll put that in the Talkadot Pro resource section for anyone who's interested. But I'll throw it in the chat. So I install that. It's free. Now on their website here, this little wolf will turn orange when it can find email addresses for me. So I'll click on it, and then it'll pull up all the email addresses that it finds on the website. Now, they just seem to be rocking with one email, which is Office, which is also the one they put right here. So this isn't like amazingly helpful, but sometimes it might be like, it'll give me, like, let me find another option that might be a little sexier to, if I'm going too deep, please let me know, because I'd like to give very specific examples, and sometimes I realize I go deeper than the average bear like. So so I click here, right? This is a better example. So it's like Donna Ozer, this is the CEO, that's her email address. And this is the associate community manager. So it literally with one click will give me everybody's name here and their email addresses, right? So Hunter's really, really cool for pulling that really easily and quickly. And then I'll go, and I actually know who Donna Ozer is, like I've spoken at this event. So, but I would go grab Donna Ozer, go into LinkedIn, and I'm connecting with everyone on LinkedIn so they can see my contact. So that's like step one, humanize me to them, and hopefully I start showing up in their newsfeed, right? Step two is I'm looking for call for proposals. So let's just do call for speakers. FSAE is the Florida Society. So I just type in that phrase, call for speakers, call for proposals, call for programming. Those are all key phrases that people would use, right? So in this particular case, I would click here, and that's what I'm really interested in. I'm looking for their call for proposals, ideally. So they have a speaker interest form. Great. I'm going to fill this out, right? So I'm going to fill this out, and then I'm going to go back to Donna Ozer or whoever's in charge of this and say, hey, just so you know, I just filled out to present at your conference. I would, it would be an honor for me to speak at your event. Here's, a video of me speaking. Here's my Talkadot report, my public profile. Look forward to hearing from you soon, right? So that's what I would do. And basically I would just repeat that process. However, and as much as you have the bandwidth and ability to do, you can obviously have a VA do this if you'd like. Or you can do it yourself. I like some of this stuff I do myself because I just want to add a little more of the submitting is pretty much like my VA could do that because it's copy pasting, go. But that human touch, I do that. So that is a very long answer to your question. I hope it was helpful.
No, very helpful. And just a follow-up question. So
Mhm.
did you, and I don't know if you talked about this last time, but are these paid or no?
They are paid. So some of them are paid, some of them are not. So I've gotten anywhere from 4,500 to 1,500 to 1,000 to speak. So I'm not getting paid big bucks to speak here, but that's not what my MO is. My MO is to speak there to get in front of their audience. Like, for example, I just closed a $15,000 speaking engagement from one of the folks in the audience at their event. So my goal is to speak there and then get in front of them. If I get paid, it's what's the word? Not frosting. What's the word?
Gravy.
Bonus?
I think
Gravy, bonus. Yeah, I can't think gravy. I think it's gravy. Yeah, it's not I don't know why did I say frosting.
Icing
Anyway.
on the cake.
Icing. Thank you. Jeez Louise.
No, that
Thank
was
you.
Jason. That was Jason.
Oh, thank you, Jason. Thank you, David. Yes,
No
it's ice.
problem.
That's frosting. It's icing. So don't look at these as like they're going to give me my fee.
Mhm.
They're going to cover your cost of travel. They're going to cover your hotel. So you're not going to lose money on these in any shape, form. But you're not going to make a bunch either.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. My pleasure. Go crush it. And what's up?
Hey, Raul, how's it going?
Just in awe of you as always.
Oh, that's so kind of you to say. So kind.
It's true.
I had a quick question, and just because I got my first VA finally, so I'm very excited. And I noticed that you have a lot of resources on the Talkadot page, and I'm actually working with her to do speaker outreach for me. And I was wondering, I don't know what the policy is, so I thought I would ask, can I give her my Talkadot login? And can she like go in and like get all the templates and things? Is that okay? Or you just prefer to like copy paste them and then she can use them?
As long as she's working under the auspices of you and you've given her
Yes.
permission to do so, it's totally fine.
Okay, thank you very much. I just wanted to check before I gave her access.
For $25 a month? No, it's fine. It's totally fine.
Hey, that could be part of your business plan.
I'm not mad at it, but yeah, no, it's totally fine. All good. Yeah, we are working on just for you're aware. It's not like whenever I say these things, I always say it with bated breath because, as I've explained to everyone, has anyone ever gotten their like a deck built in their home or like an addition put on your home, and you ask the contractor, "Hey, how long do you think it's going to be for my addition to be put on my home?" And they're like, maybe 6 weeks," and then it's like not 6 weeks. So anyway, we're creating a way because we have that request has come in before. So we're creating a way for folks to have kind of like a an admin view, and then you can give access to people like your VA, but you can also control because some people are like, oh, I want to give access to a VA, but I don't want them to be able to like delete things or, there's certain controls you'd like to give. So you'll be able to do that with your VA where they can come in and see things, but also if you wanted to like, keep your password safe, or if you wanted to keep any contact information safe, you'll have the ability to set those parameters. So that is coming. Be aware of it. It's just not today.
I was going to say, do you know when? Is there an ETA?
Well, that's why I premised it with, have you ever worked with a contractor?
I understand, but I always feel like it never hurts to ask anyway.
You should always ask, and my answer is always going to be, it's coming. That's all you need to know. Because so, for example, our community thing like that, if you would have asked me when that was going to be ready, I might have said, in my mind, 3 weeks ago. But now, like, we're running into these little. It's these. Do you remember when you used to write a paper in college? And it was done, and then you reread it, and there was like one mistypoed word, and you're like, now I got to read the whole thing. It's like that. Just it's programming. So anyway, soon it will be, God willingly, within like by the summer. I couldn't imagine it'll be past then. But if it is, just give us a break. But it should be by the summer. Yeah, cool. If you need help or support with any of the VA stuff, feel free to post questions in the community.
Okay, will do. Thanks.
Jason, what's up, bro?
Yeah, well, first props. First time using Talkadot Live on stage, Bar and Restaurant Expo. That was 2 weeks ago, and they gave me a room for 200 people. It actually filled with 233, standing room and sitting room. They were sitting on the floor. But
did you get a picture of that, by the way?
You know what? I should know. I actually did not. I did get it filmed. But not the picture of the crowd.
That picture of the crowd
with
everywhere.
Them sitting on the floor. Yes, correct. Yes. But no,
it's a chef's kiss right there. Next time, do it, man. That's a chef's kiss picture. Yeah.
But I put the slide in, went through the spiel. As speakers, we don't really know if what we say resonates. So do me a favor. Yada. So they pulled out their phones. 206 people out of 233 filled out the resume, and then got 47 leads out of that. So that was good. Have already begun reaching back out. I reached back out that day, but I did end up sending out last week, Monday, sent out a total of 6 proposals totaling $76,000. Of course, still got to close those sales though. But the question now, after props, thank you. First time ever using it. So thank you. It does work. Yes. The dang laser lights, the smoke, all that, it works. My question is, should I, or does it seem proper to use that Talkadot snapshot within my abstract, within the abstract that I send out to all of the potential, or should I just keep it as is? If they ask for further information, then
Yep.
include it, or should it be, or should I build it? Question. So what's your
Yeah,
thoughts?
I think it would not hurt in any way. I think it would actually help, because in this particular case you're dealing with, and I do this too, by the way, what I'm about to say. If I spoke to like an association, I'm doing it for, oh, I'm forgetting what it's called. Ugh, it's a thing. I'm sure Robert Cialdini from in I'm sure he persuasion guy came up with it. But basically, like, if all of their peers said, yo, Jason was really, really good, then they don't feel like they're the only one that felt that way.
Mhm.
Right. So I would say, hey, thanks so much for having me. It was awesome to see this many people resonating with this message. Here's like a link to the report and maybe an image of it. If you want to put it as a part of the proposal, like, this is the work that we do, this is the feedback that we're going to take in an example of it, I would recommend doing it. And then just seeing, I'm always looking for what's called signals. Like, does anyone in the, sometimes people are impressed by something, but they don't say anything, but sometimes they
Yeah.
do. So if anyone
Yep.
goes, hey, Jason, we loved it. And oh, we love the fact that you do reporting, or we love the image. Like, if you hear any of those things, then that's like a stamp of approval, like sprint in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
From my experience, I think it would be very helpful to do.
Rel, I think that was called social proof
Social proof.
by
Thank you.
Cialdini.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Like when I know, it's like, I like, what was a weird moment? I remember, like, I used to like NSYNC back in the day, but I never wanted to admit in public that I liked NSYNC, because I grew up in the projects and like nobody listened to NSYNC in the project, until I found out everyone listened to NSYNC and no one wanted
Especially
to
in the
admit it.
projects. Yes.
You know?
Especially in the projects.
Everybody knew, everyone knew these songs, right? I'm thinking I'm the only one going like, these songs are so
You
good,
weren't.
I can't listen to them
You
because
weren't.
Jay-Z. And then when you find out, you're like, oh, I'm not alone. I feel better about myself.
Mhm.
That is what it's the same thing. It's just different example.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thanks for being with us, Diane. What's up, David?
Am I up?
You are up.
Awesome. Hey, by the way, I just got to tell you how much I love Talkadot, because it's just crazy. It's making me money, and I don't just say that. I mean, you know this already, but if there's
Say
anyone
it.
that
Say
doesn't
it. Give me all
have
the
it,
details. It makes me
it's
happy. We're sitting
oh,
behind
it's
computers
just
all
awesome.
day.
It's like,
David.
if I can, I look at the audience, and my attitude is I will speak for free if it's the right audience, or just like you said, they cover $400, to the hotel or whatever. But if I walk out of there with another $7,500, $8,000 project that, I mean, it has paid for itself over and over, and it's been awesome. So I love it. The question I have is, every time I show this to my meeting planners afterward, they drool at it and they go, this is amazing. And then they're thinking, oh, I wonder if there's a way to get this for all of our speakers.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I don't want that. They love it. And it's like, it'll make their job great, but I want the leads. So
Mhm.
I am asking, are people approaching you now going, oh, create a corporate version? Because then, we're not, it's not, it's great. I mean, this sounds bad. I love the accolades, but I don't really care. I want the
Mhm.
business, right?
Mhm.
I'm at the point now where I'm past that.
Mhm.
And it's like, no, and this sounds really crass, show me the
Yeah,
money, right? It's more about, this is a business for me. And
I get
yes,
it.
if I'm pleasing 99% of the audience, that's freaking awesome. But that's kind of I know I'm going to do that. Now I turn it into business. So anyway,
Mhm.
what's your take on?
Yes, happy to address that, and also I want to address this part, because I think it's important that we, in general, all of us watching this, get what I'm about to say. So number one, and let me actually add my pin here because I realize I probably should do that. We know how important the business side of this is, right? The reason we've built Talkadot in the way that we've built it is the audience benefits, right? So the audience is like, oh, I get this cool thing. I'm giving my feedback. I feel like I'm getting something. So I benefit. The host benefits because that Talkadot report is the deliverable that they want, right? So they benefit, so they're glad that you're doing it. And you benefit because you get the marketing materials and you get the leads. But if you just ask for the leads, because a lot of people go, I don't care about any of that other stuff, I just want the leads. And it's like, well, like, it's like walking up to someone on the first date and asking them to go to bed, right? It's like, I understand that's what you want, but if that's what you start with, it's probably not going to be like a successful. And the ones who say yes are not going to be ones you want to do. This analogy broke down, but you understand what I'm trying to say, right? Like it's built in this way so that everyone feels like they're winning,
Right.
right? So to answer your original question, yes, we actually are getting yes, we are getting a lot of folks saying, I want to use this for my, organization. I want to use this for my conference. I want to use this for our training and development company. We are not currently servicing that at like it is not a current service offering. We have some folks that we're doing tests with that we're figuring out how to make it work. What I can promise you is as best as we humanly possibly can, right? And I always say that with a little bated breath because I can't predict the future, but we're not going to cannibalize the business to add that on. We have to do it in a way that it's synergistic, that it works, that it still keeps the core of what's important for our message and for our users. So our goal is that if and when we decide to go down that route externally, it's still going to be built in a way that someone like you is going to be like, they've thought of everything. And that's kind of like the biggest challenge. I don't say the biggest challenge, but it's a challenge, is that we spend a lot of time thinking about little things that maybe the users won't notice because it's just happening smoothly, but it's still working. And it's a work in progress and we get better. But to if it makes you feel any better, that probably will show up, but it shouldn't impact you in the way that you might fear, because we're going to hopefully figure out how to do that in a successful way so that it's a win-win.
Got it. Yeah, and I would agree. It's not. It sounds crass the way I said that, or that's not the right word.
No,
Like
but
all
I get it.
leads. No, to be able to go to the event organizer, they are drooling when I show them this. They're like, "Oh my God, that's amazing!" But then the second thought is, "What if we could do that for every speaker?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be great." But I didn't want the other part of the bit going away, right? The real value is not just the strokes, it is also what that can lead to, just like you said. So
Of course, yeah, and we want to make sure we're building this in a way that what we're constantly building towards. This is probably internal, but I think we can share it. We are hopefully, and we're nowhere close to this goal right now, but just so all of you are aware, what we're constantly building towards is we want David, we want Rebecca, we want Jason, we want you to just wake up and there's a speaking engagement waiting for you. And you just can say yes or no, right? Like that's what we want to build toward. We want to get to that place where we as speakers, we love speaking. We love getting paid to speak. We love doing the work. It's everything else that's like a necessary evil almost. Like it's like, I want to be in shape, but I still want to eat cake. I still want to like, I don't really like, unless you like not eating cake, like some people do, but you get what I'm trying to say. We're trying to minimize all of that other stuff so you can get as quickly as you can to what really matters. And it's a process to get there, but we think we're going to be able to solve that problem. So
awesome.
That's what you can
Cool.
count on us for, that we're going to hopefully move toward a place where you're like, yeah, I want to do that, or no, I don't want to do that. And it's going to be like, ideally that simple.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, Rebecca.
Hey there. Yeah, I have two. I have been using it and I love it for the same reasons. It's nice to read nice things, complimentary things, but it's much nicer to have an opportunity to reach out to somebody and develop something else. I have these two engagements coming up. I'm feeling like what I need to start doing is in my speaker agreement, line out that one of my, along with fee and so forth, that and I don't need to call it Talkadot, but the live survey, that I will conduct a short live survey, taking 2 to 3 minutes at the end, something like that, and sharing the feedback, so that I don't have to after the fact, like I'm doing with these two, because I didn't do that, have a conversation with them, One's a regional event where they have all of their subsidiaries. It's a big like agricultural, banking, savings and loan and all that kind of stuff. So it's a regional event, and I'm sure they have their own survey, right? And I have my own for my reasons, like we just talked about. The other one is an annual aerospace event, and I feel like if I ask now, they might say, well, you know, we have our thing at the end, and we don't want you to take your time
Mhm.
to impose on people.
Mhm. Mhm.
As is, they might see it that way, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
so I think I get the question you're asking. How do you approach it so that your clients are okay with it, especially if they have their own surveying tool, right? So there's a couple of ways to approach it. There's no one way to approach it. So I'll tell you what some of the ways are. Number one, you add that in for sure. And what I would recommend saying is we do an assessment of the impact of our work, right? Like, so that's the language that I might encourage you to consider using. And if I'm bringing it up, and I personally don't always bring it up, but if I'm in my pre-event negotiation with them, I tell them, here's what you can expect. We're going to draw up the contract. We're going to send it to you. We're going to do a pre-event questionnaire. After we speak, we're going to measure the impact of it through an assessment. We're going to send you a report so that you have all of that information. I outline that. And not always. And the reason why I say not always is because sometimes contracts, like you can just tell they're going to happen. And sometimes you feel like you got to build up a little bit more of the value, right? Number two, if they have their own assessment, this is what I will always say to them, right? So number one, I don't typically ask, is it okay if I do an assessment? I almost will never, ever say it that way. If I do bring it up, I will say, we're going to do an assessment at the end, and I'm going to provide all of that feedback to you. Does that sound good? And they always say, yeah, of course. Now, if they ever say, oh, you don't have to worry about that, we've got our own thing. Okay. Here's what you and I know. It's probably, and I don't say this disrespectfully to like Hoova or any of these apps, it's an in-app survey that no one's going to take. It's
Yes.
going to be like three,
Yep.
like 5-star things, and no one else is going to fill it out. And, you know, so what I typically tell them is typically your feedbacks are for your overall conferences, which they are. This feedback is for how I can improve on what I'm doing. And the good news is I'm going to share all of the data with you. So it's actually going to benefit you as well. And I promise, and this is my like phrase I use all the time, I promise that it's not going to cannibalize any of your survey responses because I'm going to push people to your survey as well. And the way I position it when I tee it up, and I know they've got like a Hoova or an in-app, thing, is I'll say, hey everyone, scan this QR code. I'm going to give you access to like my the summary of everything we talked about here today. Please let me know what you thought about this presentation. This is how I, as a presenter, gets better. But please make sure to also go into the Hoova app and leave the feedback for the conference as well, because this is how the conference gets better. So I make those distinctions because their survey tool, if anything, it's not going to mention you at all. It's going to say, what did you think about the presenters? Or they're going to say, what was your favorite session? Something like, but I can't use any of that, right? So that's how I position it. And they almost always, and it's probably come up like 5 times. And every time I position it that way, they've always said, thank you. And then like David was saying, when you show them your data and you get like 8, like, if I was, Jason and I had like 90% of the room, they're going to be like, thank you. Oh my gosh. I appreciate
when we
you.
share that link with them, what do they actually see? What is their view
Great
of it?
question.
Because they don't see our leads or anything like that, obviously, but and that
I'll show
private
you.
question that we might ask.
I'll show you exactly.
And while you're pulling that up, if I can share, I just had the exact same scenario happen. And one of the things I did, I took his coaching and I said the same thing. The other thing I did is I made sure I had something for them to download that was of value that they would not get otherwise. So not just a copy of my slides, but either a summary sheet or an extra activity sheet. And I built that up. I mentioned it in the presentation that I would be doing it.
Yes.
So now it's like, oh, I really want that. And they can't get that if they just do the survey that the event offers.
Yes, right. Okay, yes.
And I don't upload it ahead of time. And if they tell you, and I just go, oh, this is something I added. I just put this together. I thought you would find a value. That way, again, because sometimes they want you to upload those handouts.
Yes, right. Yes, yes, yes.
So I do it later, and I just go, you know what? I wanted to add some additional value. And
Yeah.
honestly, I'll tell you what I did is I had ChatGPT help me create it. Because I didn't, and I created a one-sheet handout based on some of my content, and it was unbelievable. And it took me all of 30 seconds to
Oh
do.
my God.
Shh, don't tell anyone else. That's between, shh. All right, I'll shut up. Go ahead.
That's
Yeah,
great.
no,
That's
super helpful.
great.
And that's great. Like, oh, this is going to be really valuable. And this is the only way to get it to them. It works really well. And I remember, I think it was, forgetting who said this to me, but someone else said like, hey, I have something that's like this. Here's the thing that I have, and this is how I give it away. And I want your audience to have it. And if it's high value enough, like they're going to be like, yeah, like for sure. If I said, here's a bar of gold, you would take it. Okay, so this is what the report looks like. This is how you see it. This is how you know it. This is how you love it. If you click on these three dots, this is where you can like view testimonial data of who said what and download it. So you see all this stuff here. You have a suggestion for improvement. Someone said, I don't know, right? Now, if you click share this report and put copy report link, and now I'm going to open up an incognito browser because this is how they would see it.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yes.
You'll notice a few differences. Number one, those three dots aren't there on the upper right hand corner, so they can't click in to view it. They can't see a my leads section because they're not signed in. Like that my leads thing is only signed in. And that if you notice on the bottom where it says suggestions for improvement, it's not there. That's internally, that's for you. So if anyone's like, you are ugly, right? Or whatever, not that anyone would ever say that, but if anyone says anything really crass, this is only visible to you. But they'll see this part, the attendee feedback, they'll see the attendee testimonials, and they'll be able to click view all and see all of it as well.
Yes. Okay. Does it hurt your feelings when you see probably not? Does that hurt your feelings?
Yeah, there's been so many discussions about this. It's actually really like great. Like Jason, he spoke to like 209 people, and 206 say yes, and there were 3 people that were like, nah. And almost instinctually, we lock in on those 3 people, and we go, what the hell was wrong with them? What's their problem? What the heck?
Written agreement.
We you know what we do? We throw away the 97%. We throw it away. It doesn't even exist to us. What happened right there? That's what I want to know. What did they want to? So what was told to me, and this is my general rule of thumb, and it works really well for my brain. Maybe it'll work for yours. Number one, my rule is 5%. 5% of every room will hate me. They will hate you. They will hate Jason. They will hate David. That's just what it's going to be. As long as I'm under 5%, I'm good. And the way that I help myself feel better about it is tell me one human that 100% of people like.
Yeah.
Tell me who that is in the history of humanity. So, you know what, Rebecca, you're not going to be the first. Yes. I'm not going to be the first. Jason's not going to be the first. You know what I'm saying? Like, so whenever I see that, as long as it's like, to me, 95% is 100% in my mind. So if I get a 93%, I go, oh, I got to work on that. I got to get on that, right? But like so many folks go like, well, what do I do about that? Like those 3 people. And I'm like, it's 5%, baby. It's 5%.
It's noise. Yes.
Yeah. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, no, that's the way. That's the way to go. Thank you.
Yeah. But for sure, it's very much, I know this, there's intellectual knowledge and emotional knowledge, 2 different skill sets, right? Randy, what's going on?
Hi. Yeah, you know what? I like your rule even better.
Looks like I have a 25 hour.
My rule always was throw out the bottom 1% and the top 1%. But I like keeping all the good ones and throwing out the bottom 5%. That is much better, especially when it comes to
Yeah.
reviews online. So that's really good. No, I just wanted to share, and I think I wrote this to you after it happened. So I just used this. I was presenting to college students, maybe 60 of them. And so it wasn't a conference. It was just, hey, we want all our psychology students to come hear this. Blah, blah, blah. And I used this. And when the results came back, I shared it with the professor, the head of the department, who had to fight to have this presentation for their students. And they were so grateful. They said, oh my God, thank you. This will help us convince the department that we need to have more sessions like this. So it wasn't just the percentages, it was the comments that the students made. So rather than, oh, I hope I don't bother anybody with this survey, it's more like, I'm going to do the event planners solid and give them something they can use to do this sort of thing again. So it was kind of a really nice bonus. Oh, my
No,
doorbell. I'm not sure why. I'll be back, but talk amongst
yeah, no problem. And I think that's a really, really important thing. We've actually heard, we actually had one of our users say that he was doing a presentation to, I can't remember what the group of people was. Marissa, you might remember, but basically they were like, we're not sure if, and then when they saw the feedback and they saw how much people responded to it, he was able to get almost just under $100,000 contract with one client to come back and do multiple trainings throughout the year. So a lot of the times, especially for people who are heavy on data, or they need to justify budget spend, this is it sometimes, and I don't know who needs to hear this, but this is important. If you've ever learned how to do a magic trick before, whether you're a professional magician or just you do it for fun, you think everyone is going to know how you're doing the trick once you learn how to do it. It's like that, like, I know how to do this cool thing, but I have this, like, there's like I'm hiding the card right here. And like, I think they're going to, it's obvious to me, but the truth is it's actually not obvious. It's not, they don't know how it works. But sometimes we get so nervous, like, oh, I'm getting leads from this. I'm benefiting from this. And we forget that our hosts, if they get 5 or 10% of an audience to give them feedback, they're overjoyed. If you can bring them 50, 60, 70%, they're like, you don't realize, like, now I get to put in my annual report, I did this event and this was the impact that we had. And I can use this to get a raise or to get more programming or justify that this is resonating with people. So it really, really is important to hold that, because sometimes we can get so potentially, not all of us, but potentially we can get blinded by the fact that we are benefiting from it, that it feels like a solely us benefit. But I cannot tell you story after story of so many people who client, and I experienced this myself, so I know it's true. Thank you. We're going to be able to justify this. We're going to send this, to our VP of finance. We're going to send this to our board of directors. We're going to put this in our annual report. It's like, it's just so cool. So I just want to reemphasize that in case anyone needed to hear it. You are genuinely doing a service for your clients when you use Talkadot and you assess your impact and you get to present it to them. All good, Randy, there? Cool. Jason, you had another question?
Yeah, no, last piece. I don't know who the hell is listening into your webinars, but as soon as I went on mute, the event coordinator sent the picture of my packed room. She put it on LinkedIn. It was Nicole Hayes from the Bar and Restaurant Expo. So now, yes, now I do have the picture. It's funny. As soon as I put on mute and we were done, LinkedIn popped up. She sent the actual photo. So thank you for putting that in the air. Good job.
If there was ever proof that the law of attraction is just out here waiting for us to take advantage of it, here we are. Yeah, I'm so
That's it
that's
right
such a great. I'm so glad you have it, dude. That's so cool. That's so cool.
That's great.
Tag me in it or something. Post it in the Talkadot group. So just, I want to see it is all. I want to see it. Cool. Other questionrinos. Preguntas. How about, yeah, what ifs?
I mean, I'll just reiterate what I wrote to you guys is that I have trouble finding the tutorials. and the recordings. Like when I go into Talkadot, I get my page, which is great. And
Mhm.
then I go to home and it's not there. And I don't know how to find like the one you did about, you know, getting more business. About 10 days ago, I was doing business, so I didn't get to see it, and I want to see it, and I don't know where it is. I know you're
Mhm.
about to shift things around, but in the meantime, where do I find that?
Ah, such a wonderful question. Thank you so much for asking it. Allow me to show you how we are going to solve that problem. Um, so I'll throw this link in the chat. So we are launching a community feature where everything is going to be housed in one place. So for example, all of on the left-hand side here, it says like home, members, events. If you scroll down, it says pro talk. This is just like for us to have like conversations, but there's going to be a link for pro resources. So all of the resources that you're going to want are going to be there. All of the pro trainings, when they're coming up, they're going to be here. So you'll be able to go into this and access all of this information moving forward. So when you log into Talkadot, do you see this help button right here on the upper right hand corner? When you click there now, it just does this pop up and it says like, oh, you know, go here. But moving forward, this is going to be a community button. And whenever we have new announcements for new features, because that was the other thing that people said, like, does everyone know about the email feature? Because we can do a better job of doing that. Where if you go to account settings and you scroll down, it says email campaign settings. You want to turn these on, and then our tool will send out emails on your behalf. To hopefully book your leads and do that stuff. So I put that link into the chat right there. If you click on it on the upper right hand corner, it's going to say login. Just click login and then log in with your Talkadot credentials. You can get access to it. It's a soft launch right now, so meaning we're not doing a public push, but if you'd like to come in and then access all of the previous recordings, they're all right there. And if you have any questions about how to access it, we're going to come up with like tutorials, and Marissa did a really wonderful tutorial video on how to access everything there. So that hopefully will just streamline the whole process, because we were sending it all over the place and people were forgetting it, and then they were like re-email it, and then we forgot if we emailed it, and we don't want to do any of those things. We want to make sure you get it all and it's in one place. So that's why we're doing that. Oh, good picture, Jason, by the way. Love it. Cool. So thank you, Randy. Well, thank you all for joining us for this weekly AMA session. The goal of this is to make sure that you are never a week away from getting the support, the help that you need. We're looking forward to creating more opportunities for us to connect with each other, to share resources, to share best practices. No question is a bad question. You know, the only bad question is the one that goes unasked. So thank you so much for being here. If you have a friend that you like who is a speaker, please make sure they're using Talkadot. Reach out to someone. I encourage all of you, reach out to one speaker friend today and say, hey, are you using Talkadot? And if they say no, punch them in the face and then give them your referral link and then say, you should use it. I care about you. Unless you don't really like them, then just tell them you use Google Forms, and you go to Canva, and then you go to Fiverr, and then you go to Upwork, and then you do all those things. And they're gonna be like, that's too much work. I don't want to do it. And be like, that's why you're not successful as a speaker, because you're lazy. And then tell the people you like about Talkadot. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later. I'll see you next week. Take care.